Absolutely.
All right, here we are, guys. This is going to be our first show here. We're coming from you from, well, I guess Salt Lake City right now, right?
Yeah.
Soon to be Las Vegas.
Vegas next week.
Las Vegas next week. We've got Pittsburgh area right here, and we're actually both from the Pittsburgh area. So that's how we're getting our name, Still City and Sin City Selections and stuff. What are we going to officially call ourselves here, Jody?
Yes, Steel and Sin City Selections, I think.
There we go. That's going to be it. So, all right. So our whole idea is we're going to keep this stuff real quick, real basic for you guys, give you our picks. We've been doing this for a while now. Just not anything published and everything. So we want to spread our knowledge and see what you guys think of us. All right. So we'll start off with the first fight here. I'm not too crazy about it. I'm going to do a big old pass on it. Jody, what are you going to
do? Yeah, I don't think we need to spend a whole heck of a lot of time on this one, Ed. But I'll tell you, one bet I do like is I like the fight does not go to decision on this. It's a minus 225. So you look at that, you are paying a little bit of chalk. But I'm telling you, Amedovski, when he wins, he KOs the opponent. And when he wins, which he has a very small sample size, it's by finish. So yeah. I think one of these guys are going to sleep. I don't know which one. If I had to lean, the pick would be Amedovski, but I'm with you. Total pass on either side. But I do like fight does go to the decision. Does not.
I agree with you there. If I had to choose one, but this is kind of like one of those old WWE or WCW matches. We'll say Georgia Championship Wrestling. Loser leaves town. I think who leaves town.
Yeah, it's one thing I don't know, Ed, if you notice this, but the first prelim, it's typically a violent fight. Someone goes to sleep or someone gets taps out. I mean, that's just the way it usually goes. That's why I always like the odds on two fighters like this and not going to the scorecards. If I were to make a play, that would be it. But I don't know that I'm going to get to the window for anything with these guys.
Yeah, I'm passing. Next fight we got Zumagulov versus Rivera. I'm going to go with Double Z here. I think Rivera is not very good. Just to make that very easy for everyone out there, I will have a play on Double Z. Not a real high play or whatever, but I'm going to ride with him. I don't know where you're at. And hey, we're doing this all. We don't know each other's picks. There's nothing scripted here, so we're just going by what we're feeling. All right.
That's what's fun about this. Ed and I being very passionate about this. We'll talk a lot and we'll agree on some, but there are ones like this one where we disagree. So Z is the pick. There's no question. Z is the pick. But I have a hard time laying a minus 300 on a decision fighter.
Yeah.
Who typically gets the raw end of the stick in those decisions.
Yeah.
So you're talking about he beat Paiva.
Yeah.
But he got the raw end of that decision, and now he's fighting Rivera. 6 inch height advantage, 6.5 inch reach advantage, and I think this is going to be another one that just goes to the scorecards. And I'm sorry, I can't lay minus 300 plus on a guy is getting to a sketchy decision. Can't do it.
True. Maybe maybe include him in I don't know. You don't want to put a parlay in with him either. So
I think he could be the parlay killer, honestly.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, Zalgas I think has better striking, but doesn't the 6.5 inch reach advantage kind of negate that a little bit? His ability to get in the pocket and land shots. And I don't know.
Yeah.
You really want to take Rivera down when Rivera is the submission specialist. He's never knocked anyone out. So the ground actually is where Rivera probably wants this fight.
Yeah. See there too. Last two fights like we're talking about.
Yep.
And not too good.
A lot of people say that he beat Paiva, but
Yeah. Nothing crazy though. I'm just feeling it. But like I said too, probably not anything big. Yeah. If anything, maybe just there's no value like you're saying. And ultimately, I usually wait till after I see the weigh-ins a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have anything officially yet locked in, so
I,
yeah, we're gonna
I would
say
hate
like
to hear from you Saturday night saying that Zalgas destroyed one of your parlays. I would hate to hear that.
yeah, I'll probably, and some, Jody may talk me off this year. But all right, on to the next one. Madoff versus Tavares. I'll let you lead this one off. I know
Yeah.
who I like. Let's see if we agree on.
This is an interesting fight. So Akhmedov, so the line hasn't moved much on this fight. So you haven't seen any big swings either way with the line. I actually, if I were going to bet a side, it would be the Amari side. I give me a guy that can control 2 rounds on the ground and a guy that simply will not be knocked out. I mean, that's basically what this fight boils down to. I think Amari is too strong of a grappler. He will get Tavares down when he's fresh in the first, probably again in the second, and then lose the third, and probably relatively convincingly. But I think that Akhmedov probably wins a 29-28 decision here, just pure ground control in the first 2 rounds. And at plus money, plus 145, that's where my money would go if I were to get to the window. And I haven't yet. But the one I really like here, again, I hate to keep going back to this. I'm going the opposite way here. I'm betting the fight does go to the scorecards on this one. Chalky minus 225. Neither one of these guys are putting the other one out.
No, you know what? What I don't like about these guys, if you take a look here, recent losses.
Yep.
All right. Not the MMA math and stuff, but Tavares lost to Shabazian.
Yeah. Yep.
And we've all seen that.
Yep.
All right. Now this here, of course.
Yep.
With Israel, I don't mind that loss. All right.
Yep.
When we go back up to Amari, he lost to, I'm not to it yet, but he lost to Weidman.
He did. But boy, did he handle Tom Breeze.
Yeah, Tom Breeze, but who knows what kind of state Tom Breeze is in sometimes.
Yep. No, that's fair. The Weidman thing was a total.
Ian Heinisch. Ian Heinisch win was good.
Yep.
I will probably, my decision is I like the fight to go to decision.
Yep, I'm with you.
So that's probably going to be where I lean right now, so far. But, if I would have to make a play right now, it would be decision.
Now it shows Amare putting Breeze in the triangle choke, and he tapped out, which he did. But that was more Breeze mentally quitting in the second round, as opposed to Amari being a submission specialist. Amari is just a top flight grappler. He's just ground control, really tough ground and pound if he gets on top. But I think Tavares is tough enough. He's not going to mentally quit. That's why I think this thing goes to the cards. But I do think that Amari does enough in the first 2 rounds with the ground control. He's probably going to get pieced up in the third round when he's gassed out. He's a chronic gasser, but I think he'll do enough in the first 2 to get.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he finish well against Weidman though? I'm trying to think now.
No, the whole thing was.
Oh, he was gassed. Was he
gassed out, laying on top of a more gassed out Amari in the third round?
Okay, maybe that's what it was. I know it was like coming down to whatever it was.
Yeah, it was an ugly fight.
Yeah.
But I actually bet Weidman on that, believe it or not. But it's.
I actually had Weidman as well. I was relieved on the end result. All right, let's skip along
honestly,
here.
I think if you're going to pick a side, though, I do think you have to take the plus money on the Amari side if you bet it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We got Jennifer Maya, Jessica I. I'll make this one short and sweet. I probably will have a play on Maya, almost for sure. Evil Eye, just not too evil anymore, in my opinion. But Maya, she's coming off. She fought the champ, or not too. It was her last fight actually. Here we go. Good win here against Calderwood and everything, and Chikagian. She's not bad either, as we know. But she's got the better track record right now. Plus, I don't know if she's going to submit her or not. I kind of look for that to actually happen. Or go the distance, of course.
Yeah.
So I mean, with this fight, what do we got here? Over Over 2.5,
Two and
probably.
a half, yeah, 2.5. That's why when it's something like that on a 3-round fight, I usually just take the extra juice and take the entire fight and
Yeah.
doesn't go the distance. But I think this one is going to the cards. It's juiced at -300, so the bookmakers think it's going the distance.
Yeah, I'm going Maya, hands down. I'm feeling real confident. This one's going to be definitely. This
Yeah.
one will be definitely a play here. I mean, I don't know where you stand for
Yeah,
sure.
the funny thing is, Ed, the money's coming in on I, believe it or not.
I
So
like it.
yeah, so you might want to take a wait and see approach because she opened at about a -200. She's down to -180. Boy, you get her down around a -160. You're really talking. And I agree with you. I think I is a plodding, unathletic, head on a straight line, waiting to be hit. And
Yes.
we saw Calderwood just piece her up.
Yeah.
And we saw Maya snatch a Calderwood arm and sub her out relatively quickly. And I just don't think there's a chance for a sub here. One thing I will say about I though, she's going to be the bigger, more physical girl. She has a 2-inch height advantage, 2-inch reach advantage. She can box a little bit. I actually think this might end up being a 30-27 unanimous decision for Maya. So that plays with the fight goes to the decision with the -300 juice. So
Yeah.
if I were going to bet Maya, I'd just take her straight on the money line, but I'd wait until after weigh-ins until everyone sees that little bit of height advantage on I and a little bit more money pours in on her, and then get Maya at about a -160, -165. That would be a great play.
Yeah. All right. Let's move that along to fight number 5 here. DDP versus Trevin Giles. Let you start this one off. See what you think.
Yeah, I don't know if you watched Duplessis' debut against Marcus Perez. It was some of the most awkward footwork and awkward striking I've ever seen. He was a pretty heavy favorite in that fight, and I honestly believe he caught Perez just in the right spot, side of the head, dropped him, and then put him out. But up until that point, the first minute or so, it was pretty competitive on the feet. And it was the most awkward fighting style that you'll ever see
Yeah.
from a striker. And he actually looked like a grappler who was trying to strike. If he looked that awkward. Now, Trevin Giles, he's the play for me because he is now basically at a pick 'em price, and I think Trevin Giles is just as good of a striker, probably better striker, and he has the ground advantage by a lot here. So you saw him how he was able to manage Roman Dolidze, who has a very tough ground game. He's not a great striker, but very tough on the ground. Bevan Lewis, he's a good solid striker, power striker, and I think Trevin Giles has this everywhere this fight can possibly go. And you were talking about strength of schedule. Trevin Giles, his last 3 wins: Bevan Lewis, James Krause, Roman Dolidze, and Duplessis, knockout against Marcus Perez, who I think got cut after that fight, if I'm not mistaken. And it didn't look very impressive, even though it says KO on the record. So give
Even
me
this loss right.
Giles at a pick 'em, and I also like Giles. I also like this fight. Fight does not go to the decision. -130, Ed. That's a ton of value. Because I think
Yeah.
if something crazy does happen and Duplessis does catch him with something, you have that covered. But I think Trevin Giles probably finishes Duplessis in this fight.
I like Giles as well. I'm not going to beat the dead horse here for the same reasons, basically. So let's move on. So we both agree on Giles.
Yep.
Here we go. This one here is interesting. This one is
I knew you would like this fight. I knew you would like.
and I am going to side. We got Hall versus Taperi or Taperi. I get that name, whatever. There, I'm just concerned about Ryan Hall not fighting for the past almost 2 years now.
Yep.
Which I think sides with our undefeated guy here. Even though I think Ryan Hall, let me take a look. I think his first fight he lost, and ever since that, he's been undefeated. Well, obviously 8-1, so tough one. All right, that's an exhibition bout. So yeah, he lost his first fight.
Yep.
Ever since then, he's been on a roll. Well, who do you like?
So not only the 2-year layoff, but he's 36, Ed.
Yeah, and look
So
who like. I'm looking at his fights there, who he did beat.
yeah.
So I mean,
And here's the
this.
thing: everyone's touting Ryan Hall to be this big submission specialist. Only one out of his last 4 wins were a sub. Everything else is a decision.
Yeah, look who he subbed.
Yeah, BJ Penn. So I'm not. That's an okay win. I mean, it was BJ Penn in his prime, I guess. But I mean, that's I think his path to victory is a sneaky submission, and I don't see those sliding heel hooks, sliding leg lock attempts working against a fighter like Topuria. Topuria is a BJJ black belt, a tough grappler, and he is going to outstrike Hall on the feet as long as it lasts on the feet. So I made a bet on this as soon as the line came out because I thought money would pour in on Tapuria. It hasn't. It's actually come in, just it trickled in a little bit. But I got Tapuria at -220,
Yeah,
and I laid a significant bet on him on the money line. And I'm also going to take the fight does not go to decision, because if somehow Hall does win, it's going to be by a sneaky submission of some sort. He's not going to win a decision. But I actually see Taporia um, beating him up on the feet and then taking it to the mat for ground and pound TKO.
yeah.
That's how I see this playing out.
I like Topuria as well. So that was good to be on the same side with there. All right, another interesting fight coming up here next.
Yep.
Nico Price versus Michelle Pereira, right? What is it, Michelle, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
just go Pereira. Michelle Pereira. Um, I like Pereira,
So do I.
but we see it all the time though. Is he going to gas himself out before he gets to the octagon?
Yep, yep,
That
doing his
is,
handstands, his cartwheels, and
yeah,
everything he does. But I'll tell you, I might have thought a little differently about this fight, Ed, had I not seen what I saw Nico Price versus Cowboy Cerrone. That was
yeah,
the biggest love fest draw,
yeah,
no killer instinct I've ever seen. And then to see what Alex Morono did to Cowboy Cerrone,
yeah,
that doesn't sit too well with me. Perea, he has some. He's a goofball. I don't want to say he's trustworthy, but a lot of people have mixed feelings on the Chaos Williams decision. I thought that was a clear win for Perea, and
yeah,
I thought he handled his prior opponent, can't think of the name, but he was slapping him in the face during the fight, and then ultimately choked him out in the third. That was, there it is.
yeah,
Yeah. Imadev.
yeah. This here, we all know who won this fight,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So
and
he's literally on a three fight win streak.
yeah, and this fight here, this was one of the ones where he,
Yep.
so
He actually was winning the fight, and then he just got stupid and tried a bunch of crazy stuff. But I
yeah,
think he's the superior. He could ease. Now, I'm never going to bank on Pereira's fight IQ. If he takes this to the ground, Ed, this thing is a real long night uh, for Nico. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
he's a fish out of water. Perea is strong on the ground.
yeah,
He likes to show off the flash and all that stuff on the feet. But I actually think you're going to see a lot of clinch time, a lot of Nico's back against the cage, eating elbows, eating knees, taking big shots, and maybe even a sub. I have this one too. Fight does not go to decision. -175. I'll pay that all
yeah.
day
You know
for
what? I do like that because if Nico wins, he
yeah.
could catch him. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I mean, if Nico wins, it's going to be by KO,
Yeah,
and I think Perea has a chance actually to not only KO Price. I think he could sub him. I think he
yeah.
gets down to the ground and use the jiu-jitsu. I think he could sub him out. So I like Perea as the pick. I love the fight does not go to decision with -175. That's not paying a ton of chalk for these two fighters.
The one thing that scares me is we are in Vegas and not on the small stage. We are on the big stage.
Yep.
There's going
Yep.
to be people in there. How's he going to react? Is he going to showboat or is he going to fight?
Yep. Yep.
So we'll see.
It's interesting you bring that up too, Ed. So in the larger cage, some of these fights where a lot of people don't put a lot of credence to it, but a lot of these fights where you think they might finish, that extra 5 feet extra time, extra space, extra movement, sometimes those close fights that might finish, they end up not finishing. So you know what I mean? It's interesting how that can come into play. A smaller cage at the apex, there's a much higher percentage of finishes in that cage than there are in the larger cages.
And you know what? To tell you the truth, later on, this kind of swayed my decision on one of these fights coming up because it's in the larger cage. We're probably going to disagree, but we'll find out.
But
All
no,
right.
the pick is Pereira, and definitely inside,
Yeah.
not going to decision. That's where I
Yep.
stand.
Yep. I agree with you. All right. Moving along. Max Payne Griffin versus Carlos Condit. This one here, I am passing on.
Yeah. Yep.
Just because I just saw Condit. Let me see when it was. I was on the Fight Pass, and he just grappled. Who did he grapple? He beat. Let me see. We're gonna find out. I forget who he grappled. How? There it is. Jake Ellenberger.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh, that look. You know, he looked pretty good, and that just happened. 5:23:21.
Hey, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm staying away. If I would have to go one way, a slight lean, not a play, just a pick, Max Griffin.
Yeah. If it's an interesting one. So Griffin has looked really tough his last
Yeah.
two outings. I mean, what did he do? He ripped Brahimaj's ear off. He knocked out Song. I lost a big bet on Song. I thought Song would win that fight. If Condit wins, it's going to the cards. If Griffin wins, I think it's a finish. The sneaky bet here, Ed, I know I've been leaning on these a little bit, but fight does not go to decision, plus 150. Plus 150. If you're a Max Griffin backer, instead of paying that chalk of now he's up to minus 210, you just take both sides of it. Fight does not go to decision, plus 150, plus money, because if Max wins, it's going to be a finish.
Yeah.
So that's the angle I would take on this, and then you still cover a random Condit KO with that bet. But if you like Max isn't going to stand and box Condit for 3 rounds and win a decision.
Nah.
So I think it's a finish or bust. And if you take that not going the distance, then you get plus money on it, plus 150. That's the play for me.
Yeah. All right. The Sugar Show.
Yeah.
All right. Versus you know what? I don't know who he is. I know just looking at his stuff here. Chris
Matino.
How do we pronounce that?
Mutino.
Matino. All right, let's take a look at Chris Matino. I mean, he's not chopped liver like on the regional scene here. Mm-hmm. He's fought some guys. Here's Gravely. But I think what we got here is a case of Sugar Sean maybe ducking some wrestlers. You know what I mean? He could have had who was it? Simon, and also who else?
Well, if Ricky Simone lines up against Sean O'Malley, I'm taking everything I have to the window and betting Simone. So
yeah. So I mean, what is it now? Minus 10,000 on Sean O'Malley.
Minus 900. And I mean, and here's the thing, Ed. Before this was announced, I was all over Smolka. I actually have a ticket where I bet Smolka at plus 325 because it was a little closer in height and reach than Sean O'Malley's prior opponents, and Smolka had never been KO'd. I think O'Malley is I think he's a can crusher. I think that's what he is until he proves me any different. Until he proves me wrong. I think Smolka would have won that fight, especially giving me over 3-1 on my money. I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah. Here's the thing that I didn't like about O'Malley and his loss that he doesn't claim that he has.
Yep.
When Vera got him down.
Yep.
He had no answers. All right. So you're both down on the ground.
Yep.
And he had no answers.
And he quit.
Yeah.
He quit mentally. And And that's why, and listen, Thomas Almeida, I mean, Jonathan Martinez beat him in a unanimous decision in his first bout back after a little bit of a time off. Eddie Wineland, that KO, you just saw Eddie's last bout. He took
Yeah.
a KO to basically a no name,
Yeah.
So these are not great wins by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But am I going to, hey, am I going to take the plus 600 on Moutinho? No, I'm not. I'm not going to. But I'm certainly not going to put O'Malley in any parlays because, first of all, what's minus 900 going to give you? And
$10.
it's not even worth it. It's not
Yeah.
even worth it.
Yeah. Sugar's got the hype,
Yep.
but whatever. This could be sneaky.
You take the plus 600 just because, or I mean, it's
could be sneaky. Maybe you want to do this. Maybe you put a $10 bet in just for giggles, and you take a few of your guys you really like. Put that. You never know.
Well, you don't.
I would rather do that than go the opposite way.
Well, there's no question. I mean, what? Yeah, laying minus 900 chalk on O'Malley, I'd never do it. First of all, and
I'm afraid. How about if he kicks him and his leg breaks again on his?
That's what I mean. Kick him in that nerve again behind the knee, and we see the same outcome against Vera. But yeah. I'm looking forward to watching it. If O'Malley wins and knocks this kid out, I'm not looking forward to the theatrics afterwards because this I don't think he's that good. He has a lot
of striking advantage, definitely O'Malley.
No question. He has a lot of fans, Ed. He's marketable for the UFC. That's why he's being protected with the opponents he's facing. I still think Smolka would have won that, and I hope that fight gets rebuilt.
I'm trying to think the life of me who the other guy was. It was Divishelli. Was that who it was?
Marab. Yeah.
That's who also.
Yeah.
Those are not good stylistic matchups for.
Can you imagine Ricky Simone or Marab taking him on? It would actually, I would enjoy watching that, but that's
Definitely. All right, sliding up here. You can take this girl fight here.
Yeah, so it's funny. Irene Aldana, she opened up at about a minus 150 favorite, and money's pouring in on Kunitskaya. So she's now basically, she was at a plus 125. She's now at even money. I like Kunitskaya in this fight because she has a killer instinct, Ed, that a lot of female fighters simply do not have. I don't know if you saw that fight against Vieira, but she spent a lot of time on her back in that fight. But the entire time she was on her back, she's delivering elbows and punches from bottom. In the last 30 seconds of the fight, won her the fight, where she got on top and just rained shots down, busted Vieira open to win that fight.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, that's the hole in her game. Irene Aldana is not taking her to the mat. She's going to stand and box. Irene's coming off of that foot surgery after the home fight. And she has a height advantage, but Holm dominated her. I'm not saying that Kunitskaya is Holly Holm, but Kunitskaya has enough offensive wrestling and striking ability to probably win a 29-28 decision.
I agree wholeheartely on that.
Now I won't bet it at even money. I should have bet this when it was at the plus 130 range. Now it's, the value's kind of gone away a little bit. I don't know, what Aldana we're going to see, but coming off that foot surgery, I don't expect a ton, and I certainly don't believe she should have opened as a minus 150 favorite. That's for sure.
And look at her losses here.
Yep.
Aspen Ladd.
Yep.
Definitely respectable.
Yep.
And of course, Chris Side.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Yana's the play.
Yep.
Let's go up to the next one. Here we go. All right, this one here. I've been back and forth on this one. This will probably be a pass to Avasa versus Hardy, but I have a slight lean towards Hardy.
Really?
I do. Only because I think he's going to pace himself a little bit better than he did in his last fight. His last fight, he gassed in that first round.
Yep.
And I think hopefully he learned from that. And I mean, he had his moments too where he could have had them.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And he gassed.
I bet Tybura in that fight, and I was sweating bullets. I mean, I thought,
Yeah.
it was over.
I'm just hoping he learned. If he learned, I think he could. I think he wins the first round for sure. Hardy wins the first round for sure. And if he paces himself, I've been back and forth on it. But if he paces himself, I think we got a Hardy win. I mean, you could also live bet it too.
Yeah, you could take Tuivasa after he weathers that first round storm.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just slightly nothing big or anything, but I'm leaning Hardy. You're on.
I hate to say it, Ed, but I hate saying this about any low level fighter like this, but I think Tuivasa has the better overall game. Tuivasa
He's not gonna quit. That's for sure.
Yeah, Tuivasa can wrestle too, and we saw Marcin Tybura take Hardy's best shots, and it didn't take much in the second round to get a tired Greg Hardy to quit. If you look at those shots Tybura finished him with, they're just hitting his hands and his arms. They're not even hitting him in the head, but he just quit.
Yeah.
So Tuivasa, I'm not saying Tuivasa is as good of a fighter as Tybura, because Tybura is an elite wrestler, but Tuivasa is going to bring a little more pop to his punches than Marcin Tybura does.
Yeah.
And I again, this is your classic fight does not go the distance to decision. Minus 200. I mean, I don't think if Hardy finishes Tuivasa in the first, if he gets out of the first, there's strong likelihood Tuivasa finishes Hardy in the second. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the way I see this playing out. And Tuivasa at a minus 135 right now, Greg Hardy at plus 115. I don't think there's any value in betting the money line on either one of those guys.
Yeah.
So fight doesn't go to decision at minus 200. You cover both aspects of this fight, and I think it's one of the safest bets on the card.
Yeah, should be interesting. I'm just looking at this reach. We got what's Hardy's reach? He's 80. Is he 80 inches? I believe
it's close to it. If not, remember he's that former NFL player. He has that long wingspan.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, slight lean Hardy. I like your breakdown there too on doesn't go the distance as well. All right, so this is where I think we're going to disagree here now, only because of the octagon. All right, we're not in the little one right now.
Oh, you're changing your pick.
Yeah, I am going after further review.
Oh,
I am going with the favorite.
Oof.
Stephen Thompson over Gilbert Burns, only for the fact, after looking back at some stuff, of course, who knows how, each fight's different, of course, but the common theme is no one takes Thompson down. And that is Gilbert Burns.
Because he doesn't fight wrestlers.
That's true.
Vicente Luque wasn't going to try to take him down. Jeff Neal wasn't going to try to take him down.
Yeah. But can Gilbert take him down now?
Well, here's the thing. So what people forget real quick, even though Usman TKO'd him, Burns almost finished Usman in the first minute of that fight because of the power that he packs and that he brings to the table. Stephen Thompson won't be able to take that barrage. And even if he does, he's gonna cover up, shell up, and then Burns gets him to the mat and probably finishes it. The overwhelming strength advantage and the ground. I mean, Stephen Thompson, if this thing hits the mat, Ed, he will get subbed. I mean, there is no question about it. Burns is a force on the ground, and I think his striking has improved enough to be competitive. Now, if we see the same Stephen Thompson we saw against Jeff Neal and Burns allows him to just pitter patter around the perimeter of the octagon for 15 minutes, Burns is going to lose a decision.
Yeah. Remember bigger octagon
Big
too.
Rock's
So,
gone. Yeah, it favors Thompson. There's no question. But that line, money has come in on Burns. On some, it's funny. This is different. The online books opened with Gilbert Burns as the minus 150, 160 favorite. The Vegas books opened with the exact opposite. They opened with Thompson being minus 170 favorite. So obviously the money came crashing in on the online books on Thompson.
yeah.
It's come in on Burns in Vegas because he started as a plus 150 dog. Now he's a plus 130. So it's interesting. The online betting community loading up on Thompson, the Vegas betting community loading up on Burns.
Yeah. Should be
Interesting to
interesting.
watch that.
Yeah. This is going to be a good one. Definitely going to be a good one. I can't wait to watch this fight.
You know what a sneaky play is, Ed? And you know I love these don't go or go to decision. Fight does not go to decision. Minus 110.
Oh, that's
Minus 110. Burns will not win a decision. He will finish Thompson if he wins. Because if
yeah.
he gets a decision, it's going to be Thompson just, pecking away at him for 3 rounds. And if Thompson were to happen to land something big, remember, he has great kicks. I'm not saying he's going to, but there's a chance you then cover the Thompson KO. Minus 110, nearly even money. That's a pretty nice bet too. I already have a bet on Gilbert Burns. I wish I would have waited a little bit, because I got it real early at plus 120. Then it went to 140, then back now to 130. So I got him a little too early. But I have Burns. I also have the fight does not go to decision at minus 110. I think Burns wins. I think Burns finishes him.
Here's the only thing that does concern me about Stephen Thompson. I got his page up right here.
Yep.
Is
Yeah.
right here.
Yep. Superman punch.
Yeah. That is a concern. But I mean, it's 2 years ago.
Yep. Now Luque, I don't know if you saw that fight, he had him rocked in the first round and then again early in the second, and then he just allowed Thompson to play his game and he chased him around and just let him counter strike and he just imposed his will. The Darren Till fight, that was another situation where a superior fighter won a decision.
Yeah.
And I look at Jeff Neal. I think we know Jeff Neal isn't all that good, right?
No.
Neil Magny handled him relatively easily.
That
He
was
just,
bad.
just allowed Thompson to just piece him up for 5 rounds, 25 minutes of him pitter pattering around. And Neil actually even had Thompson hurt at one point, but Neil having no fight IQ or killer instinct, it didn't pay off. But I think Gilbert Burns is an animal, and I don't know that Thompson's going to like what he feels when he feels that power. I think it's going to be a little different than what he felt in his last 2 fights.
Yeah. Here's what concerns me about Burns, though. Let's just go right here. This Tyron Woodley.
Yep.
Not the same one that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fought.
Nope.
Damian Maya, Shelva's former self. He's getting old.
Yep.
So, I mean, and these are all grappling belts or bouts where,
right.
he's going to show his dominance, except the Craig Jones, who's a freak on the mat.
Yep.
So, I mean, the record is kind of we'll see. But he did rock Usman.
He got too excited and he had an adrenaline dump, and he wasn't as sharp with his defense. But I'm telling you, a minute and a half in, I thought Usman was getting finished.
Yeah. I was at a party there, and we were all watching it. And we thought it was going down. There was going to be no GOAT talk after that. But
right. And Ed, is it safe to say? I think it is, even though Wonder Boy is going to throw more volume and more of a variety of strikes, but Usman is a more powerful striker than Thompson.
Oh yeah.
So you know, I don't want to question Burns' chin just because Usman, uh, you know, TKO'd him.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any chin issues here.
And
And I think,
another advantage I would have to say for Burns, because I was on the Burns camp, and you know, let's put it this way, I'm back on the fence now, which means this is probably going to be a pass for me.
right. I
After
already put
thinking
my money
about,
on Burns. I can't withdraw it. So I'm
but a 3-round fight definitely favors
yep.
Burns.
Yep.
Because if he does hit him, rocks him, that could be a round right there. If he takes him down, gets him down, he could steal it away, you know, with some ground control and just holding him down and doing his, you know, his jiu-jitsu and everything. So
Yep.
All right, so I'm off it right now.
Burns has a good tank. Burns isn't going to run out of gas, so he has great cardio. So he'll be there in round 3 to look Thompson in the eye and continue to go after him. So this isn't going to be we have a 1-rounder bust for Burns. He'll be shooting takedowns in round 3.
We may have to come back with another show and revisit this after Friday's weigh-ins.
Absolutely.
All right, let me backtrack.
Did you get to the window already on that, Ed, or are you still waiting?
Nope, I have no window yet for anything just yet.
Okay.
Everything's a wait and see game, but you know, we'll break it down who I do. Like I said, I like Maya, Jennifer. We'll come back to that here in a second.
Yeah.
Main event here. Poirier, Chris McGregor. All right, I'll let you go kick this one off.
Yeah, so I bet Poirier in January, getting nearly 2.5 to 1. All the value is on Poirier. I mean, you had McGregor pushing the -300 mark for that fight. I think the exact opposite here, Ed. I'm still picking Poirier to win the fight, but I don't think there's any value on Poirier now sitting at -135. So you gave me 2.5 to 1 on my money in January. 6 months later, the same 2 fighters are walking into the cage. Granted, there was a 2nd round TKO, but those things happen. McGregor won the 1st round of that fight, by the way. And then 6 months later, we walk into the cage, and now you're giving me 65 cents on the dollar on Poirier?
Yeah.
After getting 2.5 to 1 6 months ago? There's no way I bet Poirier. I think Poirier wins the fight. I do. But I think now all of the value is on McGregor. Plus 115? When do you get Conor McGregor plus money?
Never.
And if there's one person out there who bet Conor McGregor at -300 and now they're saying I'm not going to bet him at plus 115 6 months later, they're crazy. Because they have to believe all the same things they believed in January that took them to the window at -300.
Yeah.
The one TKO, when everyone's blaming the calf kicks, Conor is a 7.5 minute fighter for the most part these days, right? So, I think there was some cardio issues there in addition to, because he was huffing and puffing after the 1st round. But Conor won the 1st round, and he touched Dustin quite a few times, and Dustin didn't like it. And I'm gonna rewind 1 year ago, Ed. Do you remember round 2, Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier? If there's 10 seconds left or more in that round 2, we're not even having this conversation because Hooker finishes Poirier in that 2nd round, and this fight isn't even happening. So the pick is Poirier. All the value is on McGregor, in my opinion, if you're going to get to the window on that. And the fight does not go the distance to decision. That is the lock of the night. It's -400, so it stinks. You put what you can do is you parlay that with another relatively strong favorite and bring it closer to even money if you can. But you could literally, just throw 15 units at that thing. This thing is not going 5 rounds.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that's the safest play on this particular fight.
Yep.
Has Conor McGregor done enough? You take a look.
No.
January 1st, or not January 1st, January 23rd.
Yep.
We're just sitting in July. Did he make enough adjustments in his game?
6 months. 6 months.
I don't think he has, but
Now the Cerrone fight, Cowboy didn't even throw a strike, so that he's
Plus, Cowboy's not. He's not Cowboy.
oh,
You
I
know.
mentioned it earlier. We saw what Morono just did.
Yeah. Yeah. Cowboy is not Cowboy. And you're right on with the Poirier Hooker fight because I had Poirier.
I did
I
too.
was sweating like crazy.
Yep.
I was counting the rounds, and there was. Did
Yep.
he win? Did he not?
Well, I
He
thought he
don't.
won. I thought he won the decision, but I'm telling
Yeah.
you, round two,
Oh
if
yeah, he had him hurt.
if there are 10 to 15 more seconds left, he's going down as that whistle blows at the end of the
Yeah.
round. And I'm not saying Dustin has a bad chin. I'm not saying that, but McGregor still throws heat, and
Yeah.
it showed even in that first fight. Would you agree with me? McGregor won that first round.
Oh yeah.
So he was landing the more significant shots, the more awe-inspiring shots. Poirier came out with a great game plan then, kicking the leg, but it was already a gassed fighter.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that McGregor needs to change all that much other than the awareness factor and checking those damn kicks. He took them all. He just ate them. And I think he just needs to be a little more aggressive in round one. This thing goes one of two ways. Poirier is flat on his back, knocked out in the first
Round
7.5
one.
minutes,
Yeah.
or Poirier gets him in late round two or early round three.
Yeah.
It's
They're
not
not
getting out of
surviving
round
5.
three. It's not getting out of round three, in my opinion. I'd bet fight doesn't go to decision even if this were a 3-round fight.
Ooh. Yeah,
So
I could definitely see that. What else is I got to bring up? Oh, the other thing that I have a little skepticism with Connor is he's fighting at a higher weight class.
yep.
All right. Does he have that power, that he had at 145? I don't think he does.
You don't?
I don't think he does. I mean, look, just take a look there. You come down here, of course, Poirier. He didn't finish, you know what I mean? He didn't knock
Yep.
him.
Nope.
Cerrone, we can't. What do you hit him with a shoulder?
Yeah.
Habib,
Yeah.
there's not going to be anything there. Of course, Floyd
I mean,
Mayweather.
that's a, look at that though.
Look at here though. Look right here.
Yeah.
This was a decision majority.
Yeah, but
Even though,
Nate Diaz never gets finished.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we just saw that just recently, right?
Right. Even now, I mean, he doesn't get finished, and Nate will just keep walking forward. I don't know. Poirier doesn't have Nate's chin. No way.
Yeah.
There's no question.
These fights have been this long. Alvarez was, oh my gosh, that was
a long
5 years ago.
A long time ago.
I can remember like these were just like yesterday. This fight here with Diaz, I'd like to see that one again. Which I think we will see this fight again.
Yeah.
Especially if he does lose. If he does lose to Poirier.
This. Yeah, if he loses this. But you know what's funny? If you watch that fight, I watched that on Fight Pass not too long ago. But unbelievably, Connor has some gas in the tank in round 4 and 5 back in 2006. I couldn't believe I had forgotten that he actually won that fight because of the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So Nate kept coming because Nate just has that chin that you just can't crack. Obviously we saw that recently, but Dustin does not have Nate Diaz's chin.
No.
And
you do.
I think Dustin's the overall, he's the better fighter here. He is the pick. Then again, if you gave me, if someone jumped on him early, I think there was a chance. He was a slight dog. He was like plus 110, plus 115, could have got him. That's a little better. I had a little bit of heartburn going from plus 245 to even money and now a minus 135 on what I think is there's still a high probability Dustin gets cracked in round 1.
I can see that, but I can see if it gets out of the first round, I see Poirier winning. So I like fight does not go the distance.
That's why you throw 20 units on that and call it a day and enjoy the carnage in the first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It's going to be an interesting fight. It's not going to be a long one. I think it's going to end inside of 3. That's where the majority of my play is going this week on that fight, not going to decision.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this card.
Yep.
So definitely. Besides the the first fight, maybe the first two fights, but
what's your play? What's your main play this week, Ed, that you're leaning towards?
my main play, this is usually not the case, but I like Jennifer Maya
Yep.
to beat Jessica I,
Yep.
and I also like. Let's scroll right back up here. Fight does not go the distance right here, so I got
Yep.
two plays that I like really like. So
The funny thing is, I was chatting with some people earlier today. They didn't want to pay that chalk, that minus 400 on the fight doesn't go to decision. Yet they're the same type of people that are going to throw O'Malley at minus 900 into parlays,
yeah,
right? Where I think there's zero value
yeah.
in that bet. And don't be afraid to pay chalk on something that's as strong as a 5-round Poirier McGregor fight not going to the cards.
Yeah,
That's
and you parlay those together too with a
yeah,
play,
you just
and
load them
knock
up.
it down.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lock them up and take those. I actually think that Tuivasa, Greg Hardy, and then the main event, those are two that will not go to the cards. I think you put those, I think it's one of those cards, Ed, where you go that route instead of picking a side in a lot of these bouts.
And we've talked before, just recently, of course, we've talked and stuff. But, you get some Bellator coming up.
Yep.
And we got some PFL.
Yep.
So I'll sprinkle a little bit of that in there. Get some, usually in a Bellator fight, we know that that heavy dog or the heavy favorite is usually going to come through.
Yep.
So I stack a couple of them in there, then put them in there, and then all of a sudden I have a plus 200 or plus 300 maybe somewhere along.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's what I never understood, Ed. You get these guys who are parlaying dogs and they're already at plus money. Leave that alone.
Yep,
Take your
exactly.
favorites you like, put them together, and get that even or plus money. And that's how you. I'm not a huge parlay fan. I never put more than 2 in together.
Yeah.
But they're always, give me a couple of minus 250s and get me to even money or so, and we'll do it that way. But I see this all the time. Guys will take like 3 underdogs and parlay them, and there's no reason to do it. You just take the plus money on every bet. Take the plus money. But
I usually just have the favorites in there for that juice down. So right now I officially have 2. Fight does not go the distance, and there's my Jennifer Maya.
Yep. The other play I have, and I made a pretty substantial wager, is Ilia Topuria on the money line.
I do like that. So that is another one I do like.
And I also have that fight not going to decision because I think you cover the Ryan Hall Hail Mary sub that way, but you also get the more likely outcome, which is probably either a club and sub by Topuria, but more likely a knockdown on the feet and then follow up with ground and pound TKO.
This is just not a lot of activity.
Nope.
2016.
Yep.
2018. I'm looking. This is a year. This is 12-12.
Yep.
And we go up here, which was a little bit better.
Yep.
We're talking 7 months, 8 months, or whatever there.
And he's 36. And he's 36.
Yeah. Then look here.
Yep.
Inactivity.
And he's 36 years old.
And just recently, we've seen some fighters come back from some layoffs, and
yep,
there's a lot of rust. So
yep.
I like to play. So I'm probably gonna lean that way. I'm gonna wait till Friday.
Yep.
If we want to get together again and put up another one and just finalize the thing. Finalize our card.
Yeah, post weigh in and Ed, this is kind of our inaugural video.
I'm hoping it's recording.
Yeah. But we're everywhere, right? We're Twitter, Facebook. You're gonna probably do an Instagram and YouTube, right? Is that where this is going up on?
We'll try to get it on everything. We'll try to get it on the Facebook. We'll try to get it on Facebook Live, or not live, but just on a Facebook posting there. We'll try to definitely get it on YouTube, and then we'll link it from Twitter. Maybe put our final picks on Twitter.
Yep.
And all the other social media outlets, and See how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be great. And it's good
Yeah,
to
we're
have
rookies.
good to have someone as passionate as I am about this, and looking forward to improving the content. I'll certainly have a better backdrop once we have my permanent residence back in Vegas now. But we'll get that set up, and
Yeah, my backdrop is the original, the fight that happened in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That was the infamous Czech Congo versus
Yeah.
who was it? It was oh my gosh, Pat Barry.
Pat Barry.
I don't
Yep.
know if you remember that fight or not. It was
Yeah.
a
Yep.
very entertaining fight. We thought it was over, and then it wasn't over, and then it wasn't over.
But everyone needs to be on the lookout. Steel and Sin City selections. We're gonna have a ton of content coming up, and hopefully you don't fade us. I think we have some good ones here. I think we have some pretty solid picks. But ride with us for a while. Let's see how we do, and let's all make some money and cash some tickets.
Fade if you dare. All right.
All right, Ed. I'll catch you later.
Sounds like a plan. Talk to you later.
See you.
Bye.